Good morning. I am so excited to be here. This is Higher in Heels, and I am your host, Jen Sugarmeyer. And guess what? Not only is it Friday, so if you're watching this when this goes live, or you're watching it the day that it was posted, not only is it Friday, but it's also my birthday. I'm just saying. So today we're going to talk about aging. This entire week we've been talking about the mind, and is the mind working for you or is it working against you? And we dug into different topics throughout the week. And how do we even identify if the mind is working for you or against you? And really, it's, are you getting into a state of suffering? That's what we talked about on Monday, and we kind of baselined the week with that. And are you getting into fear, frustration, anger, resentment? All of these things that we don't really like to be in. I've never met anybody that's like, ooh, good state to be in. No, we want peace, clarity. We want to be in flow. We want to be connected to ourselves and self-love. Yeah, that's where we really want to be. So we baselined the week with, how do we even tell if our mind is working for us or against us? And since today is my birthday, we're going to talk about aging. And is age really a mindset thing? Well, first and foremost, I remember when I was a kid thinking, boy, these people are old. I used to think that, and that there was this correlation of you're not going to have any fun. And as you get older, that, life just kind of stops, and, you just sit around and do nothing. And that's absolutely something that, I don't know, you could do. You have the flexibility to do that. I mean, even at my age, so I'm not quite 40, but I'm starting to slide into home base. And I see people my age, and they're pretty sedentary with their lifestyle. So if you start to look at what are the life choices that people are making, what are the mindsets that people have versus what should be, right? What's the norm? Or legitimately, there are biological things that are happening. I have slowed down over time. I am not the same quick, fast as I once was. And I don't know, potentially it's because I don't push myself as hard. There's, in the back of my mind, I think, if I run a lot, I'm really going to do a lot of damage to my body. So is this worth me running that much? So I started walking more than I used to. I mean, I used to come out of the gym and I was dripping in sweat. Now my workouts, I may sweat some if it's in the summer, I may sweat some in the gym, but I am not like my clothes are soaked in the whole nine. So there's a different level that I bring of energy. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, I don't know, up here, I'm like, well, I don't want to hurt anything. So have I truly slowed down, or is it a mindset thing? I don't know. So the cool thing about June 25th is that it's not only my birthday, but it is my mama's birthday as well, which I love. So happy birthday, Mama Sugarmeyer. And what I love about my mom, and I'm sure she's watching this today, so a little shout out to you. My mom is, she's not quite 70, but she is sliding in there. And we go on walks. We go on long walks together. We work out together. We'll go kayaking together. We do things that, I don't know, I guess when I was a kid and I was thinking, what do you do when you get old? You just sit around and you don't do anything and your body deteriorates, and that's what happens. But you see, there's something about both of my parents, actually, because my dad is just as active as my mom in his own ways. So my mom gets up whatever time, at 6:00 every morning, I don't know. And she goes and she works out 5 days a week. 5 days a week. And I've only ever known this woman to work out in this manner. Now, I know when she's sick because she's not out there working out. And it takes a lot to take her down. It does. I'm sure she's down there many days where she's like, "Ooh, not feeling that great, but I'm gonna push through it." That's just how she's always been. And then when her body says, "No, you can't do this. You need to give yourself some grace," then she does. That's my perception of what's happening anyway. And so she's always been down there 5 days a week, and she gets her body right. And then she gets her mind right. And she has her quiet time every single morning. Literally, in my almost 40 years, I have never known any different from my mom. That's what she's always done. Now, I don't know all the things that happen during her quiet time. Is she thinking about aging? I don't know. I know she's having prayer time with God. I do know this much. But she's getting her body right. She's getting her mind right. She's getting her soul right. She's filling it up with things that she's reading, the conversations that she's having. And so there is something magical that happens in that morning time frame for my mom. And so when I look at women like her or other people, and I think, wow, that's pretty incredible that you can be almost 70 years old and you can still be doing all of these things. I wanted to share a couple of stories with you. There was a woman by the name of Wilma Rudolph, and Wilma started walking when she was 12. She had her legs in braces, and I'm sure that people told her, that people prepared her and said, "You know what? You're not going to be able to walk throughout your life." And maybe they really did think this. I don't know. Or maybe they were just trying to prepare her for the worst. Like, just in case she did start walking, at least she would say, "Yeah, well, I knew to expect this." I don't know. But I'm sure people told her, "You know what, Wilma, you're not going to be walking. You're in braces." So at 12 years old, she actually took her braces off and she was able to walk for the first time, 12 years old. And it wasn't long until she started running. And then 4 years after that, okay, y'all, when she was 12, she took braces off her legs and she started walking. Shortly thereafter, she started running. 4 years later, any guesses what she was doing? The woman was in the Olympics. Y'all, she was in the Olympics. I don't know about you, but I've never had my legs in braces and I'm not running in the Olympics. And I have long legs. I'm sure if I could figure out how to make these things work, that I could be in the Olympics because that's the kind of body I have. I have a 37-inch inseam. So I guarantee you, Wilma, I got longer legs than you. But oh my gosh, she took all the power maybe that she'd been building up for all those years. And boy, oh boy. So she was a bronze medalist. So she wasn't just in the Olympics, like she got a medal. Okay, Wilma, two claps, hand claps. Girl, you go. So what is it about Wilma? She had the mindset. Wilma was determined in her life that it didn't matter what the doctors said or what they were trying to prepare her for or whatever was happening in her life. Wilma said, "I want to be in the Olympics." I'm sure she used to watch those things come around every year, every 4 years or whatever the heck. And she used to think, man, maybe she saw some kids running around the neighborhood and she thought, "I'm going to do that one day." And she set her mind to it and she did it. I'm blown away. I am so blown away. Like there are things that, yeah, I mean, I think in the exercise space that, man, I'm really good at, but I don't think I'm, heading to the Olympics for any of them. And to go from not walking to bronze medalist in 4 years is just wow. And that's what she did. So is that aging? Is it truly a mindset, or does our mind dictate what's happening in our life? Now, there are people that get into the Olympics and guess what? They're still in a wheelchair, but they have their mindset on that, hey, I'm going to be in the Olympics. So maybe we have to get creative with ourselves as we age. So maybe Wilma said, "I'm going to be in the Olympics and I'm going to run." And maybe legitimately there was something and she never walked, but she found another way. And I think as we age, that's kind of what happens a bit because there are biological things that are happening. But if we know these things, are we able to combat them in a different way? Are we able to come at them from a different angle? Are we able to get different support? Are we able to put things in place to make our dreams come into reality when we know that these are the biological factors? As long as we've got the mind right and we put our mind to it, can we do anything? Now, I want you to take another guess. Who is the oldest person that has run a marathon? Any idea? I don't know. 70? 80? Anybody know? Anybody know? I'll tell you. 100. A marathon is 26 miles. Fauja Singh, and I'm sorry if I said that wrong, was the oldest runner to complete a marathon in 2011 at age 100. So look. You might be saying, okay, I'm 30. I can't do this. I'm 40. I'm getting old. 50. I'm getting these kinks. Guess what? When you are 50, you are half the age as Fuja was when he ran the marathon. And you know what? I don't doubt that he was not the fastest runner. Again, it's these biological things. But did he set out to be the fastest runner? I guarantee you he's the fastest runner at age 100 because he's the only one. So it probably didn't matter what he did. He probably won the medal for fastest in his age category. I know I won fastest in my age category for doing my little 5K. And I think I came in at 27 minutes. So he could have come in at 27 hours or 27 days, and he probably was still won best or fastest in his age category because how many people are running marathons? But he put in his mind and he trained. And they say mind over matter. We are that matter. So does it really matter what we're doing, or does it matter what the mind over the matter is? You see, I feel like Cat in the Hat right there, like I'm Dr. Seuss or something. But do you see what I mean? That when we put our minds to something, so again, going back to my parents, they're the most active people that I know. My dad is into his 70s. My mom is getting closer, and they're active every single day. And they'll get tons of mulch. And my dad will say, oh, I wheeled 90 barrels of mulch around today. And I'm like, what? Or the last few days or whatever. And I'm like, that's crazy. That's way too much, and I don't know. I guess I never asked him, but I guess this doesn't like faze him. He's like, I'm going to do this. And maybe he does it in a day, or maybe he does it over a week. I don't know, but he does it. And my mom, every morning she gets up and she sets out and she does her 3 miles on the elliptical. And maybe when I come into town, she does 4 or 5 miles as we're walking around the lake. And, I've never seen her say, well, I don't know. I'm this age. I can't do that. I mean, she has told me, let's not walk quite as fast. And that's fine. That's fine. I'm that way too. I feel like I don't walk as fast as I used to. And that just kind of happens. But does that stop her from doing what she wants to do? Does my dad say, no, I can't do this because of my age? There are very well maybe some things that he has said, I'm not doing that anymore because I am this age. Like, here's something that Jen Sugarmeyer doesn't want to do. Like, there's certain things that if I could outsource, then I would, because you know what? I don't want to do it. Like my lawn. I actually do like mowing lawns, but I had someone come and mow it. And it was mostly because I didn't want to buy a mower and I knew I was going to be moving. So I had somebody do it. But the point is that we may get to a certain point in our life and say, you know what? I'm not cleaning. I'm going to have somebody come clean. And it's not because you can't. It's because you don't want to. Your lawn. It's not because you can't. It's because you don't want to. You've got time that you want to spend on other things, like running your marathon or trying out for the Olympics or whatever it is. But as I age, and I remember when I was 19 years old and I joined this women's group. It was with church, and the women were like 23, 24. And I remember, this makes me laugh now, but I remember thinking, they're old. And now I think, gosh, that's so young. You can't make any life decisions when you're 24. But I mean, I guess you could be a doctor maybe at 24. So there's that. But, you just start looking back and you're like, man, but I thought that was old. And I guess I thought at my age that I was old. And I guess I definitely thought at my parents' age, like that was an old age. And then I get to that age where I see my parents and we all have really strong mindsets. And like my mom is in her prime. She's just out there doing the thing. She's out there teaching courses and she's cleaning and she's got her garden and this and that. And she's like, this is what I'm doing. She teaches herself piano. She teaches the seniors at a local senior center, she does all these mind games with them to keep them active. I mean, hello. When something happens in the community, my mom's like, let's help. She just does these things because she does. I don't think it phases her. So is age truly a mindset? And I'm going to argue that it is. And again, maybe we need to get creative about how do we accomplish something when maybe there's some kind of physical limitation, or maybe there's something else that's going on, but does that preclude you from that activity altogether? And I don't know. I think it depends what the activity is. I do think it depends how badly you want it. I think it depends on a lot of different factors. But I think that we are capable of so much more than we probably give ourselves credit to. And people like Fuja Singh and Wilma and my mom and my dad, and I don't know, maybe even myself. I don't know if I'm in any of these categories. But when we look at these individuals and we say, wow, look what the heck they're doing. That's amazing. I had a boxing coach one time and I thought he was in his 60s. Okay. He was 82 years old, y'all. I'm not even kidding. We were in the ring and he would hold up the mitts, and he passed away during COVID. Really sad about that. But yeah, I mean, he would hold up the mitts and I would give it my all, and and he would just stand there, and he'd be holding the mitts as I'm punching him. Had I known, y'all, that he was 83, it probably would have scared me, because in my mind, I would have done that same game of, oh, he's old, therefore he's feeble, therefore don't hit him. I wasn't hitting him. I was hitting the mitts, just to be clear. I wasn't like, take it to the face. But I was just hitting the mitts. And I probably would have gone through that mindset game had I known how old he really was. But I didn't. And so I assumed that he was younger and that, he could take what I was putting out. He could take the brunt, the force of the power that I was landing on these mitts. That was my assumption. And I bet you that had I known his actual age, that would have changed, because I would have done he's this age, therefore I can't. And I remember he told me, and I don't know if he passed away from COVID or what happened, but I remember he told me that he was going to be going well into his hundreds. And you know what? I believe that. And the truth is, something could always happen. It can. Maybe there's an aneurysm, maybe there's a heart, there's something, and we don't control these things. But while you have the mindset and you can, let's take control over, oh, hi, Mom, happy birthday. You'll have to go back and watch this. I was giving some shouts out. Thank you, Mama. I appreciate that. I just saw your comment. Mom, I didn't say how old you were, but I think I said how old I was. So if people could do math. But if we just put our minds to how do we want our life to look, and we take out the age should look like this, and we start to put in our minds of what do we want our life to look like? What are the things that we want to accomplish? And whether that be the marathon at 100, whether that be not walking and then figuring out how to get into the Olympics. Granted, she was 16 years old, but whatever that may look like for you, it is a mindset. And y'all, age, it truly is just a number. So make that mind work for you. This entire week, we've talked about how the mind can work for you or against you. So, how do you want your age to be viewed? As something old and feeble, or do you want it to be young and nimble, or do you want to just be active and healthy? Do you want to be whatever? You get to define that. It's whatever it is for you. And if you need any examples, go back and listen to this about my mom and my dad and Fuja and Wilma and some of these amazing people that have said, you know what? I don't even recognize age. In fact, I don't even know how I got here, quite frankly, but I'm just going to keep doing what I do. And I'm sure when they want to change it, then they will, because that's just how they are. So, it is Friday. I want y'all to go have a great weekend. This is Jen Sugarmeyer with Higher in Heels. I would appreciate so much. This would be a great birthday present to me if you would like, if you would subscribe, and if you would share this with your friends, because I'm here live at 6 a.m. every single morning. And this is for y'all so that we can get intentional about our days. So that would be a great birthday present for me. Higherinheels.com. That is how you can get a hold of us. So make sure you go out, get a copy of the free magazine out there, and let's see what else. Yeah, you can also write into the show if you want to get some free coaching. We do that every Tuesday if things come in or not. So with that, I should sing a birthday song. Happy birthday to me and my mom. Happy birthday to me and my mom. Happy birthday, dear us. Remember, age is just a mindset. All right, love you. See y'all Monday. Cheers.